Welcome to the realm of Irish folklore, where age-old myths and enigmatic creatures come alive. Today, we invite you on an exploration into the shadowy recesses of Ireland's rich tapestry of legends, where cryptids and supernatural beings lie in wait, eager to unveil their secrets. From the mist-laden shores of Lough Neagh to the eerie heights of Kerry, these narratives will guide you into the heart of Ireland's most spine-chilling tales. Let yourself slide, and imagine yourself traversing the secluded landscapes of rural Ireland, where the whispers of the wind carry echoes of ancient spirits. In the distance, you might hear the faint sound of hooves or the mournful wail of a banshee, a harbinger of doom. These are not merely stories. They offer a glimpse into a realm where the boundary between myth and reality becomes blurred, and the legendary creatures still roam the land. In this episode, we will explore the lesser-known monsters and cryptids of Ireland, beings that have haunted the imaginations of locals for centuries. From the fearsome dogman of the Slieve Bloom Mountains to the alluring yet lethal Leanhaun Shee, these tales promise to chill you to the core and leave you questioning the truths that lie beneath the surface of Ireland's tranquil landscapes. So, dim the lights. Make yourself comfortable and prepare to uncover the hidden terrors of the Emerald Isle. These are the cryptids and monsters of Ireland, and their stories are ready to be unveiled. The Dogman, Ireland's werewolf legend. Among the most unsettling of these creatures is the Dogman, a fearsome cryptid often likened to the werewolf. This being is deeply rooted in both folklore and contemporary sightings, striking fear into the hearts of many Irish inhabitants. Although dogman encounters are more prevalent in North America, there have been disturbing reports of this creature in the remote, foggy regions of Ireland, particularly within the dense forests and rugged terrains of County Clare and County Mayo. Described as a towering bipedal figure with the head of a wolf or dog, the dogman is said to stand between 7 and 8 feet tall, boasting powerful limbs and razor-sharp claws. Eyewitness accounts frequently mention its glowing eyes, often red or yellow, and its uncanny ability to traverse the landscape with the swiftness of a beast and the cunning of a human. Unlike the traditional werewolf, which transforms from human to beast under the full moon, the dogman is believed to exist in a perpetual hybrid state, half man, half beast, and entirely terrifying. The origins of the dogman in Irish folklore are somewhat obscure, yet some scholars suggest a connection to ancient tales of the Fada or Wolver, a type of werewolf once thought to inhabit the hills and woodlands of Ireland. The Fada were historically viewed as guardians of children and injured men, but over time their narrative darkened, intertwining with the more sinister elements of werewolf lore. Modern sightings of the dogman in Ireland may be infrequent, yet they remain profoundly unsettling. One notable encounter occurred in the early 2000s when a group of hikers in the Slieve Bloom Mountains reported an encounter with a large, upright canine creature. The hikers described hearing ominous growls and rustling in the underbrush. When they turned to investigate, they spotted the dogman at the forest's edge, its eyes glowing menacingly. The creature emitted a bone-chilling howl before retreating into the woods, leaving the hikers shaken and terrified. Another chilling account from County Mayo recounts a farmer who came face to face with the dogman late one night. Hearing his sheep bleating in distress, he stepped outside to investigate and found the dogman crouched near the sheep pen, its massive silhouette stark against the moonlit sky. Paralyzed with fear, the farmer could only watch as the creature turned its gaze upon him, its eyes shimmering in the darkness. These encounters serve as a haunting reminder of the mysteries that continue to linger in Ireland's landscapes, inviting us to ponder what truly lies beneath the surface of this enchanting yet enigmatic land. The shadowy figure emitted a low, threatening growl before vanishing into the darkness, leaving the farmer in a state of bewilderment over what he had just encountered. While some skeptics attribute such sightings to mere misinterpretations or fabrications, others contend that this enigmatic entity, known as the Darkman, represents a genuine and fearsome aspect of Ireland's untamed wilderness. Whether perceived as a corporeal being, an ancient spirit, or a manifestation of collective imagination, the Darkman remains a haunting presence in the depths of Irish folklore, serving as a poignant reminder that not all monsters reside solely in the realm of myth. The Banshee, Among the most iconic and chilling figures in Irish folklore is the Banshee, a spectral woman whose sorrowful wail is believed to herald death. The term Banshee, derived from the Irish Bean Sea, meaning fairy woman, has been an integral part of Irish mythology for centuries, with tales of her lament echoing through the ages. Typically envisioned as a pale, ghostly figure clad in white or grey, she is often depicted with long, flowing hair and eyes that are red from weeping. In various narratives, she appears either as a youthful beauty or as a haggard old woman, her face etched with the lines of grief. Regardless of her form, the presence of the Banshee is always interpreted as an omen of impending death. Those who hear her cry are forewarned that their time is near. Legends suggest that the Banshee is a type of spirit or fairy, particularly linked to ancient Irish families such as the O'Neills, O'Briens, and O'Connors. It is said that she follows these noble lineages, mourning their losses and foretelling the passing of a family member. Her wail, a piercing, high-pitched keen, resonates through the night, so filled with sorrow that it can chill the heart of anyone who hears it. One of the most renowned tales involving the Banshee centres on the O'Brien family. According to legend, the family patriarch, King Brian Boru, was forewarned of his impending demise by the Banshee's lament on the eve of the Battle of Clontarf in 1014. Her keening was heard outside the royal palace, and the following day, Brian Boru met his fate in battle, just as she had predicted. Though the Banshee may not always be visible, her presence is undeniably felt. Her wail, a haunting blend of a woman's anguished cry and the howling wind, is a sound that can instill terror, causing even the most courageous hearts to quail. In certain regions, she is said to travel in a spectral carriage known as the Cuist Bodhar, a black coach drawn by headless horses that ferries souls to the afterlife. Despite her ominous reputation, the Banshee is not regarded as a malevolent spirit. She does not inflict death. Rather, she mourns it, serving as a conduit between the realms of the living and the deceased. Her lament is a warning, a final act of compassion for those on the brink of departure from the mortal realm. Today, tales of the Banshee continue to circulate across Ireland, particularly in rural communities where traditional stories endure. While many regard her as a mere myth, others believe that her mournful wail can still be heard on quiet moonlit nights, when the boundary between life and death is at its most fragile. Whether a figment of folklore or an enduring presence within the Irish landscape. Leprechaun horns. The leprechaun remains one of Ireland's most enduring and enigmatic legends, often regarded as the guardian of hidden treasures. No discussion of Irish folklore would be complete without acknowledging this iconic figure, widely recognised as a small, mischievous fairy clad in a green coat and hat. The leprechaun is emblematic of Irish culture and stands as one of the most recognisable characters in Irish mythology. However, beneath the playful exterior commonly associated with St. Patrick's Day lies a more intricate and layered persona, deeply rooted in ancient Celtic traditions. Leprechauns are believed to be solitary beings, in contrast to other fairies that dwell in communities. They are typically found in secluded locations such as forests, glens and caves, where they devote their time to the craft of shoemaking, earning them the epithet of fairy cobblers. In return for their labour, leprechauns are rewarded with gold, which they hoard in secretive pots, often rumoured to be hidden at the ends of rainbows or buried deep underground. One of the most well-known aspects of leprechaun mythology is the notion that capturing a leprechaun obligates him to grant 3 wishes in exchange for his freedom. However, achieving this is no simple task. Leprechauns are notorious for their cunning and cleverness, frequently outsmarting humans who attempt to ensnare them. They may offer promises of wishes or disclose the whereabouts of their concealed gold, only to vanish into thin air the moment their captor lets down their guard. The origins of the leprechaun are believed to be intertwined with ancient Celtic beliefs in nature spirits, particularly the Tuatha De Danann, a race of supernatural beings said to have inhabited Ireland long before the advent of humanity. Some scholars propose that the leprechaun is a vestige of these ancient beliefs, embodying the mischievous and unpredictable essence of the fairy realm. While leprechauns are often depicted as harmless tricksters, certain narratives portray them as more malevolent figures. In these tales, they are fiercely protective of their gold and will go to great lengths to safeguard it, utilizing magic to bewilder or harm those who attempt to pilfer their treasures. They are also known to enact cruel pranks on those who disrespect them or ignore their warnings, further complicating their reputation in the realm of folklore. One notable tale recounts the experience of a farmer who managed to capture a leprechaun, compelling him to disclose the whereabouts of his fabled pot of gold. The leprechaun led the farmer to a field filled with identical trees, indicating that the treasure was buried beneath one of them. The farmer, wanting to mark the tree, tied a red ribbon around it and left to retrieve a shovel. Upon his return, he was astonished to find that every tree in the field now bore a red ribbon, while the leprechaun had mysteriously vanished. Despite their penchant for trickery, leprechauns are not inherently malevolent. Rather, they are regarded as guardians of nature and protectors of Ireland's hidden treasures. The narratives surrounding them serve as a testament to the rich folklore that continues to shape Irish culture. Leprechauns have become emblematic of luck, mischief, and the enduring enchantment of the Emerald Isle. Today, they remain cherished figures in Irish folklore, celebrated through festivals, literature, and popular culture. While the contemporary portrayal of leprechauns may appear more whimsical than in original tales, the essence of these clever and resourceful fairies, often associated with gold, continues to captivate audiences worldwide. Fairies. In the heart of County Limerick lies the quaint village of Nanny, steeped in ancient history and folklore. Nestled beneath the shadow of Knockaney Hill, the influence of the local fairies is woven deeply into the cultural fabric of the area. The hill is named after a fairy queen of Munster, who is said to reign over the fairies residing in the vicinity. The fairy trees of Nanny, particularly solitary hawthorn trees that stand alone in fields or by roadsides, are held in high reverence. It is believed that these trees are sacred to the fairies, and disturbing one is considered a serious transgression that could invoke the fairies' wrath upon the offender. Numerous stories circulate about farmers who, in their folly, felled a fairy tree to pave the way for new developments, only to encounter dire misfortunes shortly thereafter. Crops failing, livestock dying, and even sudden illnesses afflicting their families. A well-known account in the region tells of a farmer who, disregarding warnings from his neighbour, opted to clear a hawthorn tree obstructing his construction. Almost immediately, his luck turned grim. His cattle fell ill, his crops failed, and peculiar noises echoed around his property at night. Whispers on the wind, footsteps with no visible source, and the eerie laughter of unseen entities. Realizing his error, the farmer attempted to atone by planting a new tree in the same spot and leaving offerings of milk and bread for the fairies. Although the strange occurrences ceased, the farmer's fortunes never fully returned, serving as a cautionary tale for others in the community. Knockaney Hill itself is regarded as a stronghold of fairy activity, with local belief suggesting that a vast network of tunnels and chambers lies beneath it, serving as the fairies' residence. These mystical beings are said to emerge at night to dance in the moonlight. Residents often avoid the hill after dark, and those who have ventured there at night recount tales of strange flickering lights atop the hill and the distant sounds of ethereal music carried by the breeze. In Nanny and its surroundings, the belief in fairies remains robust, with fairy trees left undisturbed and offerings still made at specific times of the year, particularly during the ancient festival of Samhain, when the barrier between the worlds of the living and the dead is thought to be at its most fragile. The Goat Man. For the residents of Nanny, fairies transcend mere folklore. They are tangible entities deserving of reverence. Glen Lake, located in Cani El Trim, is a picturesque locale characterized by its rolling hills and dense woodlands. However, this idyllic setting is also the backdrop for a haunting legend. The Goat Man, an eerie cryptid that has captured the imaginations of locals for generations. Described as a humanoid figure with goat-like attributes, the Goatman of Glen Lake possesses the body of a man, yet displays the legs, horns, and face of a goat. It is known to walk upright, its hooves echoing ominously against the rocks as it traverses the lake's shores, particularly at twilight. This creature is rumored to be a shapeshifter, capable of transforming from an ordinary goat into its terrifying humanoid form at will. One of the most notable encounters with the Goatman occurred in the late 19th century, when a farmer named Ailey was tending to his goats near the lake. He observed one of the animals behaving erratically, exhibiting unusual aggression, while its eyes glowed with an unnatural luminescence. To Ailey's horror, the goat reared onto its hind legs and began to morph, its form elongating into a grotesque figure. Frightened, Ailey fled back to his village to recount his experience, only to be met with skepticism and laughter. However, as more villagers reported sightings of a strange goat-like creature near the lake, disbelief quickly turned to concern, confirming the goatman's existence. Since then, numerous sightings of the goatman have been reported around Glen Lake, particularly during the autumn months when dense fog envelops the area. Witnesses describe a tall, goat-like figure with glowing eyes lurking in the shadows, and some claim to hear the sound of hooves trailing them along the lake's edge, only to find nothing upon turning around. Local legends suggest that the goatman serves as a guardian of the lake, protecting it from potential threats, while others believe it to be a malevolent spirit condemned to wander the earth in its monstrous guise due to an ancient transgression. Regardless of its origins, the Goatman of Glen Lake stands as one of Ireland's most unsettling cryptids. Today, Glen Lake remains a favoured destination for fishing and hiking, yet locals caution visitors to remain on well-trodden paths, particularly as dusk approaches. It is said that the Goatman is ever watchful, awaiting any unwary traveller who dares to encroach upon its domain, the Puka. The Puka, a shape-shifting spirit from Kildare, is among Ireland's most intriguing and feared mythical beings. This entity can adopt various forms, ranging from a horse to a rabbit, goat, or even a human. The most renowned Puka legends originate from County Kildare, where the creature is said to roam the countryside, playing tricks on unsuspecting passers-by. In its most common manifestation, the Puka appears as a sleek black horse with glowing golden eyes. It is known to materialize at crossroads or along desolate roads, offering rides to weary travelers. However, those who accept its invitation often find themselves in dire situations. The Puka gallops wildly through the night, leading its riders on a harrowing journey across treacherous terrain before ultimately unceremoniously discarding them into a ditch or bog. One of the most famous tales of the Puka involves a farmer named Seamus O'Leary, who encountered the creature late one night whilst returning home from a pub. Having indulged in a few drinks, Seamus felt emboldened when the Puka appeared as a black horse and extended an offer for a ride. Without hesitation, he accepted, unaware of the perilous adventure that awaited him. As Seamus mounted the Puka, the creature took off at a breathtaking speed, darting through the shadowy fields and soaring over stone walls as if they were mere obstacles. Seamus, initially exhilarated, soon found himself gripped by fear as the Puka cackled wildly, accelerating with each passing moment. Eventually, the creature halted at the precipice of a cliff, rearing up on its hind legs and launching Seamus into the air. He landed on a soft patch of grass, bruised but otherwise intact, while the Puka vanished into the night, leaving him to navigate his way home. In addition to its equine form, the Puka is also known for its mischievous antics, often playing tricks on farmers by ruining crops, souring milk, or causing domestic disturbances. In some tales, the Puka possesses the ability to speak, offering riddles or cryptic messages to those it encounters. Despite its trickster behavior, the Puka is not universally regarded as malevolent. In several regions, it is viewed as a guardian of the land, meting out punishment to those who mistreat nature. Conversely, in other locales, it is considered a harbinger of good fortune, especially during the harvest season when offerings of food and drink are made in hopes of winning its favour. Today, the Puka stands as a prominent figure in Irish folklore, particularly in County Clare, where stories of its escapades continue to be shared around hearths. This shape-shifting spirit captivates the imagination, serving as a reminder of the wild and unpredictable essence of the Irish landscape and the supernatural beings that inhabit it. Abhartach, Irish vampire. Another intriguing figure from Irish folklore is the Abhartach, a vampire-like entity associated with the village of Slaughter in County Kerry. Long before Bram Stoker's Dracula popularized the vampire myth, Ireland had its own bloodthirsty creature known as the Abhartach. This dwarf-like figure was a powerful and feared chieftain, notorious for his cruelty and mastery of dark magic. Despite his diminutive stature, he wielded considerable influence, ruling his people with an iron fist. Desperate to liberate themselves from his tyranny, the villagers conspired to assassinate him. A warrior named Quan was chosen for this perilous task, and after a fierce battle, he succeeded in slaying the Abhartach, burying him upright in his grave. However, the next day, the Abhartach rose from the dead, demanding blood from his terrified subjects. The villagers once again sought out Quan, who defeated the Abhartak a second time, only to have him resurrected once more, thirsting for blood. Realizing that conventional means would not suffice, the villagers consulted a druid, who revealed that the Abhartak was a type of vampire and could only be vanquished with a wooden stake made from yew, followed by burial upside down. Following the druid's guidance, Quan executed the plan, finally putting the Abhartak to rest beneath a large stone that remains at the site to this day. The tale of the Abhartak is one of the earliest known vampire legends and is believed by some to have influenced Bram Stoker's creation of Count Dracula. In stark contrast to the romanticized portrayals of vampires found in contemporary literature, the Abhartak emerges as a menacing entity driven by an insatiable thirst for blood and a fervent desire to dominate and instill fear in those around him. Within the narrative of Slaughter Verti, the legend of the Artak endures as a compelling tale, with his grave still attracting visitors intrigued by the origins of Ireland's own vampire mythos. This story serves as a haunting reminder of the ancient and sinister forces once believed to inhabit the Irish countryside, preying on the terror and life force of the living. Today, the legend of the Abhartak continues to fascinate enthusiasts of vampire folklore, providing a glimpse into the roots of one of history's most enduring and chilling legends, the Dullahan, County Kerry. In the heart of County Kerry, where rolling hills and mist-laden landscapes create an atmosphere ripe for ghostly tales, one of the most fearsome figures in Irish folklore emerges, the Dullahan, also known as the Headless Horseman. This spectral being is said to haunt the roads of Kerry, heralding death to those who cross its path. Clad in black, the Dullahan rides a colossal black steed that thunders through the night, its hooves striking sparks from the ground. However, the true horror of the Dullahan lies in its grotesque appearance. It carries its head under one arm or holds it aloft in its hand. The head is described as having eyes that flicker like glowing embers, capable of perceiving everything within miles. Its mouth twists into a sinister grin that stretches unnaturally from ear to ear, as if mocking the living. Legend has it that the Dullahan rides during the night, particularly around festivals such as Samhain, to claim the souls of the dying. When it halts its horse and calls out a name, that individual's soul is irrevocably forfeited, with no prayer or charm able to avert their fate. Additionally, the Dullahan wields a whip fashioned from a human spine, which it employs to strike out at anyone daring enough to gaze upon it. Those who are unfortunate enough to witness the Dullahan are said to face dire consequences, either death or blindness. One of the most notable tales of the Dullahan recounts an encounter on a rural road in Kerry involving a young man named Patrick O'Connor. As he made his way home one night, he heard the distant sound of hooves approaching. Initially dismissing it as a neighbour on horseback, he was gripped by horror when the figure drew nearer, revealing itself to be a headless rider. Paralysed by fear, Patrick could only watch as the Dullahan rode past, its grinning head held high. The creature paused, as if sensing his presence, and turned its head to fix him with a direct gaze. In that moment, dread seized Patrick's heart, and he collapsed to the ground. When he regained consciousness, the Dullahan had vanished, but the memory of that encounter haunted him for the remainder of his days. While the Dullahan is often regarded as a harbinger of death, its role contrasts sharply with that of the Banshee, who laments the passing of a beloved. The Dullahan embodies a more active and relentless force in the process of death, unwavering, unstoppable, and utterly terrifying. To encounter the Dullahan is to confront death itself, with no means of escape from its grasp. In County Kerry, tales of the Dullahan continue to be recounted with a mix of reverence and fear. Locals avoid the roads it is said to haunt after dark, convinced that if they hear the sound of hooves echoing in the night, it is wise to avert their gaze and hope the headless rider passes them by. The Kepi. The Dullahan is a harbinger of death for those who encounter him. In contrast, the Kelpie, the legendary water horse of Lough Neagh, Ireland's largest freshwater lake, embodies a more sinister folklore. This idyllic location, characterized by its breathtaking scenery of rolling hills and ancient woodlands, conceals the dark secret of the Kelpie, a shape-shifting water spirit that assumes the guise of a horse to ensnare unwitting victims. The Kelpie is among the most feared entities in Celtic mythology, notorious for its ability to morph from an enchanting horse into a terrifying aquatic beast. When in its equine form, the Kelpie appears near the lake's shores, exuding an air of tameness that draws people near. However, those who are lured to mount this seemingly gentle creature soon find themselves in peril. The Kelpie's skin becomes adhesive, ensnaring its rider before it plunges into the depths, dragging them beneath the water's surface. Additionally, the Kelpie can adopt a human visage, often presenting itself as a striking young man or an alluring woman. In this form, it entices individuals to the water's edge, where it ultimately reveals its true nature, pulling them into the lake. Once captured, escape is impossible, and victims are said to have their souls imprisoned within the lake for eternity. One of the most renowned tales involving the Kelpie from Lough Neagh centres on a young woman named Eilish Donnell. One evening, while strolling along the lakeshore, she encountered an exquisite black horse by the water's edge. The horse appeared gentle and inviting, captivating Eilish, who approached it. As the horse nuzzled her hand, she instinctively climbed onto its back. In an instant, the Kelpie's true form was unveiled. Its skin became cold and clammy, adhering to her like glue, while its eyes glimmered with malevolence. The Kelpie then galloped into the lake, and Eilish's screams echoed as the water enveloped her. The following morning, her lifeless body was discovered on the shore, devoid of any trace of the mysterious horse. The legend of the Kelpie has been transmitted through generations in County Antrim, with many locals expressing a cautious reverence for the creature's existence. Fishermen and swimmers in particular exercise vigilance, especially during twilight hours when the Kelpie is believed to be most active. Today, Lough Neagh continues to attract tourists and nature enthusiasts, yet the spectre of the Kelpie persists. These stories remind us of nature's more ominous aspects and the ancient spirits thought to inhabit Ireland's landscapes and waters. Whether a myth or a cautionary tale about the perils of the deep, the Kelpie of Lough Neagh remains a haunting figure that captivates the imagination of all who hear its tale. In the rugged and windswept terrain of County Kerry, where mountains converge with the sea, another legend has long inspired both awe and dread, the story of the Leanan Sidhe. This enchanting fairy is known for seeking out creative souls, poets, musicians, and artists, offering them her love and companionship in exchange for extraordinary artistic inspiration. The Leanan Sidhe, County Kerry. Leanan Sidhe is often depicted as a breathtaking woman, her long flowing hair and enigmatic eyes hinting at the mysteries of the universe. While she grants her lovers unparalleled talent and the ability to create masterpieces, this gift comes at a grave cost. Those who fall under her enchanting spell are doomed to an early demise as their life force is drained by the very muse that inspired them. Legends suggest that the Leanan Sidhe resides in the otherworld, a parallel realm where time operates differently and the souls of her lovers become trapped for eternity. Thus, her tale serves as a poignant reminder of the fine line between artistic brilliance and the perilous allure of supernatural influence. One of the most renowned tales about the Leanan Sidhe, a muse from Irish folklore, dates back to the 18th century and revolves around a gifted poet named Shaw. Known for his remarkable poetic ability, Shaw's artistry reached new heights after an encounter with a mysterious woman in the woodlands surrounding his home in County Kerry. This woman, who introduced herself as a Leanan Sidhe, became Shaw's muse, frequently visiting him in his dreams and inspiring some of his most celebrated works. However, those close to Shaw began to observe a troubling transformation. He grew increasingly frail and withdrawn, despite his artistic triumphs. A sense of haunting shadow enveloped him, leading him to confide in a close friend about his love for a woman he believed was not of this world. He feared that she was siphoning away his very essence. Shaw's concerns were validated when the woman ultimately revealed her true identity as Leanan Sidhe. Though her love for him was profound, it came with a heavy price. Her affection was both a blessing and a curse. Aware that his time was limited, Shaw poured his heart and soul into his poetry, yet his health continued to decline rapidly. He passed away at a young age, leaving behind a cherished collection of poems that continue to be celebrated. His family and friends believed that the Leonansida had claimed him, taking his soul to another realm where he would remain her eternal lover. This legend serves as a cautionary narrative about the perils of obsession and the delicate balance between inspiration and self-destruction. In County Kerry, the story of the Leonansida endures, reminding us of the alluring yet treacherous nature of the otherworldly and the cost associated with true artistic brilliance. Leonansida remains one of the most enigmatic and haunting figures in Irish folklore, a muse that evokes both beauty and dread. As we reflect on the shadowy forests and misty lakes of Ireland, it's important to recognize that these creatures, whether real or imagined, are intricately woven into the landscape's cultural fabric. The tales of cryptids and mythical entities have been handed down through generations, underscoring the power of folklore and the enduring allure of the unknown. From the fearsome Glaistig of Glenna Lake to the mournful banshees that resonate through the night, these legends serve as a reminder that the world is filled with wonders and fears that lie just beyond our understanding. If you have enjoyed these captivating stories, we invite you to give this video a thumbs up, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel to ensure you never miss an episode. We have a wealth of eerie legends and ghostly encounters to explore, and we would love for you to accompany us on our next adventure. Additionally, if you have encountered a cryptid or possess a story of your own, please share your experience in the comments below. Your tale may be featured in an upcoming video. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and remain vigilant, for you never know what might be lurking in the shadows. Good night.